My car starts making a sound, and I have no idea what it means. The problem is, I need the car tomorrow morning, so I drive it to a mechanic and ask him to take a look. He comes back holding a piece I don't recognize. "This is worn out," he says. "If you don't replace it, the engine could fail." I nod, like I understand. Honestly, I have no idea what he's talking about. Here's the part that bothers me. I have no way to check if he's right. I can't see inside my own engine. I can't read the wear on that part. I just have his word. So I say yes. Not because I trust him, because I have no alternative that costs less than trusting him. $300 later, the sound is gone. But the question underneath it isn't, did I actually fix my car, or did I just pay for the feeling of having fixed it? I still don't know. And that's the part that stays with me. This isn't really about mechanics. It's about anyone you pay who knows more than you do. Think about how many people you pay precisely because they know something you don't. Your doctor, your lawyer, your financial advisor. In each of those rooms, you're paying for expertise you can't independently check. Economists have studied this for decades. One of the first was Kenneth, writing about medical care back in 1963. Picture it like a flashlight in a dark room. They're holding it, you're not. They can see the whole room. You only see whatever they decide to point it at. Economists have a name for this kind of relationship. You're the principal. The person you hired is the agent. And the gap between what you know and what they know is called information asymmetry. When that gap is wide enough, the agent doesn't need to lie to you. They just need to lean toward the choice that benefits them, in a case where you can't tell the difference anyway. Their incentive decides the direction. Your inability to check is what lets it happen. Here's the part worth sitting with. The knowledge gap never actually closes. The mechanic will always know more about engines than I do. But the danger inside that gap isn't fixed. Paid a flat fee regardless of what he finds, the same gap barely matters. Paid more for every extra repair, that same gap turns into a real risk. Nothing about what either of us knows has changed, only what he's paid to do with it. A 2016 AAA survey found that 76% of drivers believe repair shops recommend work they don't need. 73% believe they get overcharged. That's not paranoia. That's a nationwide description of the exact problem I just walked through. So why doesn't this gap ever close? Because closing it is expensive. You can ask questions. You can get a second opinion. You can spend hours learning how an engine actually works. But every step towards certainty costs time, money, or expertise of its own. That's why the gap survives, not because experts refuse to explain, but because verification itself has a price you'd have to pay yourself. That's what makes it hard to see coming. It isn't that the mechanic is dishonest or that you're careless. It's what happens whenever incentive points one way and your ability to check points nowhere at all. Next time someone hands you an answer you can't verify, a diagnosis, a bill, a fix, that's the flashlight moment. You're vulnerable because you can't see what they see. Expertise isn't what makes you vulnerable. Needing it is.
This is ScratchTheNomics.